Hello, Gemini, and welcome to your monthly forecast. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is a reading for the month of October. You can watch it either before the month or during the month. That's up to you. You can also watch this for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus. This is a resource for you whenever you need it, so I'm just glad you showed up. It's great to have you here. I begin all readings with channeled messages, then I pull out the Celtic Cross. The channeled messages for me are like a direct dial to spirit. Sometimes dreams, meditation, but in the case of your sign, it came through a real life experience before I was going to bed last night. So I basically was sitting there, I'd meditated. I think I was just randomly looking at something on my iPad, but in that state where I was ready to go to sleep, but for whatever reason, I was still keeping myself up. So as I kind of almost nodded off, I heard and felt the sensation of like a moth, but I heard wings that would be more like a bird wing or an angel wing. And I was like, what is this? So I flipped on the light, looked around, took everything off the bed, shook it out to see if there was a moth somewhere. And then I thought, oh, it's an angel, it's a guide. And I thought, I really am tired. I should go to, the thought in my head was go to bed. So I went to sleep, and as I started to go to sleep, I just felt this warmth and loving energy kind of pass through my body. It was a healing angel, probably Archangel Raphael, because that's typically what Raphael would do. But basically, as I was going to sleep, there was this sense of being protected, almost like I was in a cocoon of energy. So I got both a moth and an angel coming through as I was going to bed last night. Let's talk a little bit about this. I think this is going to help you with this possibility to go into something new in your life. So I picked this sign here because it's one of the, or this card here because it's one of the angelic cards in tarot. Temperance has an angel, the Lovers has an angel, and this is the one that actually jumped out the most to me. There's also that angelic energy in the Judgment card. But what I love about the Lovers is there has to be that sense of taking care of yourself. And that's basically what that angel was coming through last night to do, saying, it's time for bed. You need this. Nurture and care for yourself. So I want you to think about self-care and self-love as an attractive force in your life. If you can love yourself and see yourself as lovable, then you start to attract people in that appreciate you, that support you, that lift you up. You can also then enter into the next phase of your life and feel like no matter what, you're very happy with who you are, what you stand for, what you're doing. You can spread your wings and fly. You might want to partner up with someone who's in that same frequency as well. I definitely got that energy of just unconditional love coming through. If you're not feeling that in any aspect or any facet of your life, this is a time to sort of have a wake-up call and make a shift where you need to. All right, moving into the energy of the moth, the cocoon, the transformation. Let's talk about this for a moment. There's a very subtle energy with moths and cocoons because a lot of things happen hidden beneath the surface. So some of you may have just recently experienced something like a change of heart, change of mind, an epiphany, that light bulb moment that we have from time to time, and something shifted or changed. And it changed inside first, and once you accept it, because judgment is also about acceptance, once you accept and embrace it, that's the liberation. Oh, this is over. Oh, this is what I need to do. This is the next step. That's so powerful because that will call in all the future activities. So this is a time to really lean into things like meditation because they can help reveal what you need to be focusing on. Also, like me last night, if there's something subtle, pay attention to it. Basically, the guide or the angel was saying, slow down, take care of yourself, get some rest. Also, you're protected. And you are protected if you're on your higher path. Know that, okay? So feel it, then manifest it. This is a month where once you recognize the path, you'll start to see some movement. But never underestimate or sell short the importance of the internal changes. Without that, how is anything else ever going to be able to basically take shape or take form? All right, welcome everybody. Let's give the Celtic Cross a nice shuffle and see what's coming through again. You can use this for Sun, Rising, Moon, or Venus. All right, let's begin with your catalyst this month. We have the beautiful iris coming through for that. The message on this card is as such. It says rainbows and messages. When it rains, look for rainbows. When it's dark, look for stars. This represents a shift for you, some good news that's coming in. Mercury isn't the only messenger. Iris is another messenger in mythology. She was able to travel not just through the heavens, and that's what the rainbow represented. Her speed and sort of swift movement created that mark in the sky, but also she could go to the underworld. She had a pitcher, and she would basically take some water from the river Styx, and if there was anyone that wasn't telling the truth, she was able to stop that. Basically, it paralyzed them if they weren't being truthful or authentic. So this is also a really good sign if you've been dealing with any sort of devil, moon, or seven of swords energy. It's showing that that's coming to an end, that you finally turned a new leaf and that you're dealing with better energies around you. So I like that. And ultimately, the rainbow is a symbol of a necessary phase that we have to go through sometimes, right? We all need to have water on this planet, for the trees to grow, for us to have what we need as well. We need water. It's not always fun to go through a storm, but when you come out on the other end, there's this sense of strength, knowledge, and perhaps for some of you, even this feeling like I can handle just about anything. So let's take a look now at the Celtic Cross. We'll periodically go back to the rainbow card as needed. This Celtic Cross, again, is going to take you through the next month and a half. I like to take a moment here and just sort of get a feel for what the main sort of movement is. So I always look at these two cards. We have an opportunity as the outcome. We have, for many of you, this independent, self-sufficient energy that's bringing you there. A big end and beginning as well. All of this stuff bodes pretty nicely, I must say. There's not that many challenging cards as I'm looking through all of this. So let's just take it one card at a time, beginning with one of the ultimate boss cards, second only to the Emperor, the King of Wands. So you'll notice here that there's this sort of snake pit below, but there's one snake up at the top that is rising above, that isn't getting involved with all the sort of chaotic energy of competition, of basically getting embroiled in other people's drama, is focusing instead on what's important, what's in front of them. So that's one message coming through from this very unusual, I'm using basically an animal totem deck here, but from this unusual interpretation. The traditional King of Wands still actually usually has lizards or salamanders on his particular throne as well. But what he's good for is innovation, also being able to demonstrate, leading by example. There is the fiery energy also represents passion. So this month, if you can lean into what creates the most sense of passion and fulfillment in your life, lead by example, and stay out of other people's business and problems and just focus on managing and pushing forward what you need to, you're going to see a lot of movement, because crossing this card, we have the ultimate card of expansion, the world. You don't have time to try to fix or heal or manage everyone else. There's too many great things happening for you right now. For many of you, this could be a long time coming. We see all the seasons represented: winter, fall, spring, and summer. So for many of you, this is this moment where it's taken so long to get to this point that you don't want to miss this window of opportunity. If we look at the foot of it kind of reminds me of like a hobbit's home, even though it's not exactly, I know, because I'm a Lord of the Rings geek. But if we look at the little door here, it's almost like that. There is this little labyrinthine energy or entrance to this. So many of you had to go through some twists and turns. You took the road less traveled, right? And it was sometimes frustrating, but you know what? Sometimes we have to take those twists and turns so that we appreciate the opportunity when it comes knocking. And this, whatever you're entering into next, is something that can actually stick around for a while, that could lead to some really exciting things. And I encourage you to be present and willing and able to go for it. What does the world represent in your life? A new job, a new relationship, a change of address, major changes, major shifts. What has to happen first? The cocoon energy that we talked about. You have to feel it and believe it and see it here in order to see it here. So that may be the biggest thing to focus on, is the inner work this month, because guess what? It looks like it's already either happening or about to happen, and the only potential block is either in your head or in your heart. In fact, as we take a look here at your deep past, we have the Wanderer, which is just another word here in this deck for the Fool. And look at what the Wanderer is about to step on, a rainbow. And that tells me, we can interpret this pretty clearly, that there's some good news on the horizon, that something great is about to happen for you, but you have to embrace the understanding that this is new, this is different. Some of you are just a little bit discombobulated after finishing something. You're wondering to yourselves, I did that. That was such a focal point. Now what? It's okay to be in that sort of wandering phase and exploring phase. And this is saying before you go too far on the path, look around, really sample what's happening in your life and what's around you so that you can move with intention, move with focus, and move with a sense of confidence. I was also thinking about the importance of the iris, and there's another card, of course, in tarot that has that, and lo and behold, it's one of the other angel cards that I talked about earlier. Here in the corner, you'll see two irises. So it's saying, be patient with the changes, the movement, and the communication in your life right now. The patience, the diligence, and that sort of openness is going to allow you to see what's available to you, okay? Let's go ahead and see what's going on in your recent past. You're deciding maybe to slow down a little bit, and you're also looking at who's been around you all along. So this is one of the only decks that accurately, or I would just say maybe deliberately shows the community energy in the Eight of Wands. So here we see a hearth fire, we see celebration, we see camaraderie, we see people coming together. This doesn't always happen in the throes of the Eight of Wands. Usually they're inanimate. You just see the wands flying through the air in most decks, and it's hard to connect with that, right? Sometimes you'll see like rockets or something like that too, but it's hard to get excited about it. This is a lot easier to see like I'm a part of something bigger. I'm connected to all of these people, all of these ideas, all of these energies, and together we're the passion. That's why we see the fire, but you're the collective passion and movement behind something. Take a moment and say thank you. Say I love you. Receive a compliment yourself. Look at how the team is working together, whether it's your friends, your family, or your colleagues, and take a moment to also just be with one another. That's part of the whole experience. It's not just about accomplishing things. Work-life balance may be more important now than ever. You don't have to choose sometimes between those. It is just a matter of standing up and saying, I need to do this or I need to attend this, and know that someone else in that group can pick up the slack. What was the card right before this? The Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is about doing too much, learning to delegate. By the time the Eight of Wands comes around, hopefully that message has come together. Nine of Wands, there's going to be some other challenges and opportunities, so you don't want to burn yourself out. This is a long distance run, so make sure that you're saving a little bit for all of these great things on the horizon. All right, let's take a look at how your crowning card is shaping up. We have the Knight of Wands in reverse. So let's look at it in the upright position just so we can enjoy the illustration. We have a beautiful fox. His eyes are closed, kind of smiling it looks like, but it's contemplative, it's meditating, and it's basically thinking, is this okay for me? It's picky and discerning, and that's what you can and probably should be in this moment. Think to yourself, do I want this? Does this sit well with me? And it shouldn't be something that takes too much sort of deciding. Does it feel right here? Does it click here? If there's anything that doesn't meet that sort of litmus test, doesn't feel right, doesn't sound right, dig in a little bit deeper, get some information, research, talk to someone around you. That's an important piece here that will help you from making a misstep, will help you from wasting any unnecessary time. Now, whenever a Knight card is reversed, it usually means slow down. You have the capability, permission, the right to change your mind. That's what the Knight of Wands in reverse is doing. He's saying, I was going this way, I think I want to go this way. Or I thought this was everything, but maybe there's something here. Just be open. Open-mindedness is key. If you need to stand up for something that matters, you can do it. This is a stubborn card as well. And we already got the King card here at the center. So we get a lot of that energy of leadership, and here, like, I'm going to really stand up for this. I'll slow down, dig my heels in, and make sure that this happens before moving forward. We can also interpret it that way. Now we have a really positive energy here in the near future. The Nine of Pentacles means that you have more than enough to make something happen, and you can do it on your own. You don't need anybody to take you to the finish line. Now, that being said, sometimes this card is just trying to take on so much to prove that they are independent when in fact it's already an implicit piece of the card. So know that if there is an external hand offered or opportunity offered up to you, you can accept it. But this card also tells me that if you're not getting the support that you need, that you have what it takes to see it to the finish line. Slow and steady is one of the important things with the Nine of Pentacles. Typically, we would see a little garden snail in here, which represents that it's not always the first to finish that is, the most successful. Sometimes you'll see this with companies. One will rush to release a product, but it's riddled with bugs or quality issues, and it suffers therefore because the reputation is lost. The second or third one to market that does it best or does it better than the first, they're the ones that win. So take your time, do it right the first time, and you're going to be happy that you didn't rush, okay? In this particular illustration, we see an Ouroboros and a snake. So one of the common themes this month is reclamation of power, working with a room of people that have opinions. There's very powerful or boisterous people around you, and you can hold court. You can hold your own, all right? So never underestimate your point of view, your communication skills, or the skills that you have to offer. Even if being able to articulate it isn't your forte, you are appreciated because of your particular gifts that you have. I really appreciate, speaking of that we have resources coming forth. We're not looking at some sort of a journey here where you're losing resources. It just came out of the gate with a really good one. And not only that, folks, we have 9 + 1 = 10. Someone can come in and make this a little easier if you're willing to accept. We'll talk more about that in a few moments. First things first, let's see how you're showing up. Well, I quite like what I see here. We have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. Many of you are choosing to focus on personal development. Maybe you're learning a new trade or skill. You might be finishing something that you started and kind of put to the sideline, and now it's important. This is education for many of you. This can also be construction or completion of a construction. And this is an exciting time because from this comes this sense of skill and expertise, and this only sets you up for success in the long run. Now, the card in reverse is basically saying there is a question from the universe. Are you ready to complete the task? As long as you say yes, that helping hand is coming through. The signs and signals can be subtle, like I had the other night. It can be like a little flutter that I could have ignored, but because I didn't, I received a healing and I got messages for you. I had to tune in, I had to slow down. You might have to do the same. Let's move on to what's going on in the environment. We have the Woodward. And as you know, strength and justice can sometimes be swapped. They are in this particular deck. And we see a different version of the strength card. So here's your traditional one where there's a woman. She has her hands in the mouth of a beast. Here we actually have the embodiment of the strength that is the sort of creature or the beast in any of these interpretations. So rather than having to do this, you're simply becoming that. And there's sort of like a melting or amalgamation of the two. We see this also in the Light Seers deck where there's like a lioness. So there's a woman, half lion, basically, or half lioness. And it's the understanding that there no longer has to be a tug of war. So there was a lot of energy this month with all the different snakes that we saw. There's snakes here, there's snakes here. And this is a chance to not feel like you have to be right versus wrong or in charge or trying to get someone else to listen to you. You know who you are, and people are either going to follow what your lead is or you're going to move into a group where that energy already, that respect already exists. Okay, so this is inner strength. That was a lot to say, inner strength. However, one thing that you might have to take care of is your physical strength and well-being too. So this is a really important month for, just like the angel was telling me to go to sleep last night, get a good night's rest, eat well, exercise accordingly to, or appropriate to what your body will allow, and according to what your doctor allows as well, and focus on things that are sustainable and supportive to a healthy and happy lifestyle, okay? And ultimately, this could be a person in your environment. If we were to think of strength in reverse, This is someone who has to get their way, okay? So this could represent either someone that you work for or just someone in your life, be it a friend or family member, that has a hard time when you're right or letting you do something that you want to do because they don't agree with it. And what you're going to do is push a little bit of distance between you and between them. Focus on really spreading your wings like the moth and finding your way if you need to. I like that we had a nocturnal energy with the moth. And this one is also saying here, when it's dark, look for stars. You're always just one step away from the light. The moon, the stars, the sun, and also within, like the hermit, okay? There's light everywhere. You just have to know where to look. As we look at hopes, fears, and opportunities, another card around power, empowerment, and choice, and also just letting go. In this deck, it's called the Green Woman, but it's otherwise known as the Empress. The Empress is all about birthing, creating, and moving things forward. It's also nurturing. So this is a month where you can basically put that focus within. So deciding, what is it that I want to create? What is it that I want to birth or nurture in my life? Rather than trying to be there for everybody else. We talked about that with the snake card a little bit earlier, that if you get caught up in that, it kind of just creates a mess. So this is a time where you can leave the door open. I've talked to other signs about this. Allow for people to tap on your shoulder if they need you, but instead, you're going to focus right now. Instead of putting your energy on them, you're going to decide, I'm going to breathe life into this. I'm going to fix this in my life where I feel like I need to, sort of like create something more substantial. And I'm going to let go of something that no longer serves my highest interest. That's it. It's pretty simple, pretty powerful, but it is about putting the lens within, managing your own affairs, and pulling away from some of these two cards together can be a lot. And actually, this could be a partnership. It's interesting that a traditionally feminine card is more masculine here. And we have this sort of tug of war going on between divine masculine and feminine. For some of you, much like I was talking about with the Lightseers deck, it's simply about realizing that we have all of that energy within. We don't have to choose a path that is traditionally seen as what's expected of us. We can do whatever we want. So this is also about harmony within yourself, within your life, and knowing that you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Whether mom or dad agrees, whether it's traditionally something that would be approved for you or not, doesn't matter, okay? Are you happy? That's all, as your reader, that I care about. And on a soul and a heart level, I think that's what's important for you too. We have the Ace of Pentacles here in your outcome. A very good card, even in the reverse state. This is basically saying that there could be an unexpected opportunity knocking on your door, and you have to kind of weigh it and think, is it good enough? Or is it okay that I wasn't prepared? Do I just want to go for it? Because opportunity doesn't always come knocking, and when it does, it might be better to just sort of like embrace it and give it a go. Okay, this could be a proposal, an offer, or an opportunity that seemingly comes out of left field, maybe until you meditate on it for a moment, and then you might see how it all kind of comes together. If you need help or support or want some support or energy from someone, ask. This is also about a request if you need to do so. These are very empowered and powerful cards here, so you can make it happen. In the entire Celtic Cross, there really isn't one card that is a red flag for me. They're all positive. I don't always see that. Usually there's something like the Seven of Swords, the Devil, or the Tower. Whatever you guys have been working on, it feels like some of the most difficult pieces have already happened, and that's why we've gotten the rainbow. So embrace possibilities. Go into this month feeling like the best is yet to come, okay? Let's expand this forecast now to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to begin with the health card, which is your mind, body, and spirit. As always, I am here to look at energy. So if there is a health concern, work with a doctor. Financial, go to your accountant, etc., etc. But looking at the energy of health, first and foremost, we have stand up and be recognized. Let's talk about this card and see what it has to do with health. So in the upright position, it would say, behold, you're the inspiration you've been looking for. In the reverse, it's saying you're seeking that inspiration externally. Don't do that anymore. Seek it within. And what I love here is that we ultimately see the energy of a star or the star, and this is reminding you of your star quality, your star power. And also look at how everybody has star power and star potential. There's room for a universe of stars in the sky. And this is what always is curious to me when people are afraid when someone's shining brightly. It doesn't dim your light. It only amplifies, it basically, think of it this way, like energy attracts like energy. So if someone that is doing amazing is directly in your periphery, that means not only can you do the same, but you're already energetically somehow connected and in a similar sort of frequency as them. So now you're going to focus on brightening and feeding and igniting your own star. And that's all this is really saying. So light up your life exactly the way you want and need to. Don't worry if other people got there first or get there later or shine in a different way, because stars come in different sizes and different colors and different constellations, and same thing with you. Just be authentic. Authenticity is key. It'll make you happier too. So that's really what I'm getting with that. And ultimately, this is if you're not being appreciated or supported in the way that you need, a lack of resources, ask. I see graduation here. This, whatever you need or want, if you can't find it with wherever you're at, you're going to find it somewhere else. We see an acceptance or an offer or a way to get what you want this month. So just focus on the right path, not the easiest path or the expected one. Okay, let's specifically turn the lens just to health matters here. So many of you are already doing this, but this is moving or a move or traveling. So the reason for the move for some of you is you felt kind of like claustrophobic, or there were too many, you didn't like the energy around you. So there's competition, there's, agitation in this card. And this is one about finding a way to be away from that, to rise above. So if you might have just outgrown where you're at, whether it's a place of working, it could be your relationship, or it could be where you're living. It's sort of like a plant that is in a pot that's too small. It's time to expand. So that's message one. If you're ready, go ahead and make that move. You're just one step away from finding that place, okay? If you're trying to sell your house, we see an offer coming in for you. That has to do with finances, but it's coming through with movement. So I'm just gonna say it when I get it. Other things that I see, some of you are taking on too much. And we can see it with strength and also with the Empress in reverse. There's no need to do as much as you're doing or to hold up everything, hold up the weight of the world. There are other people there that can assist or should be doing their own part. So feel free to tell them what they need to do and to delegate or just to say no. And some of you would really benefit, like if there's something that you want to do, whether it's a class or going to school or something like that, this is really going to be something that soothes and fulfills something on a soul level that you want. You'll get a lot out of that. Ultimately, most of the cards are pretty good here. Slow down a little bit. That's what I'm getting here. Slow down the pace. And when we're looking at exercise, it can be simple things like swimming or walking, low impact. Again, work with a professional, work with your doctor before changing anything, but your cards are pretty good for health. So I think we're looking more at emotions, focusing on feeling strong, feeling powerful, feeling confident. Self-worth equals net worth. So it feels like the cards really want to veer into your wealth, your life purpose, where you're putting your time and energy. So let's look at that. In that, we have another Fool. You have two Fools here. So this Sacred Fool is in reverse, and it's basically saying, for some of you, there is a misstep or there's been a little bit of a delay in going down the path that you want to go. This card is saying, now is the time to take a step. The Fool can take on double meanings too, feeling foolish or feeling too inexperienced. And this one is saying, if a door opens for you, it opens for a reason. Give it a shot. Allow the universe to show you if there is a ceiling, but I'm not seeing it right now, okay? So this is overcoming fear, doubt, or anxiety and feeling like, oh, they won't understand me or I won't be able to do it. Everything here is about capability and it's about forward momentum. So I feel like this could be a really exciting chapter for you. I'm going to take it in a couple of different lenses here. For those that are currently employed, there's a chance to get a promotion. There may also be a chance for a completely new job at a completely different place. There may also be a necessary move for that. Big changes. If you're not expanding, it's time to look elsewhere, because that's really where the energy is taking you. Unless, even if you want to stand still, there feels like there's other things you could be doing, other things that you could be learning outside of work. So this is really about expanding your extracurricular if what you do for a living is just what you do for a living. And it's fine. We all approach jobs with a different lens. If you are unemployed, this is auspicious. It is saying there's a lot of entrepreneurial energy here. So some of you may start up your own business. Some of you may need to lean into an old network to maybe see if there's something new coming through. If you're retired, then what I'm seeing here could be teaching or writing. And for some of you also just focusing on your own wellness, I should say, a well-being, because we have health and we have this sort of power card here. So this is really about building yourself up. Anything that you want to do that makes you feel better about your life, this is the time to do it. But ultimately, I see a breakthrough and a new beginning for most of you. Whatever you were doing, it's coming to a natural sort of transitional phase, whether that means evolving to a higher role in the same space or completely changing trajectory. And again, it can be a multi-year, multi-month process. The World card has the number 21, so that could be 21 months. We see 4 seasons on the card. It could be 1 year. So give yourself time. That was very true to my experience when I decided to leave corporate and do what I'm doing. It took me just under 2 years, maybe a year and a half. But I needed to save some money so that I could make the change. So I stayed longer than I wanted to, but I stayed as long as I needed to. So crunch the numbers, figure out what makes sense for you. It is an important piece to that. Let's move on to the energy of love. In this particular card, it's reversed, but let's look at it in the upright position. It says personal choice. So the first message here is you get to choose. I already said that with the ace that came through in the reverse state. If someone comes through and offers you something, you decide, is it good enough? Am I ready? Are they ready? So that's the first piece. Then this is really powerful. It says, close your eyes. We could say animal or person. Close your eyes. What animal or person do you imagine? What strengths are they known for? What wisdom do they share? Embrace these qualities. I'm going to take it a little bit deeper. This card was reversed, so it's asking you to really look at who's around you. If you are surrounded by people that are pretty awesome, and we saw that for some of you, this is saying right back at you. Like energy attracts like energy, so you've been working on yourself. Other people are seeing value, possibly even before you see the value in your life. And this is a chance to see the mirror of success around you and also equate that to some of the work that you've done within. For the challenging personalities, which came through in the form of the snake pit here in the King of Wands. So very power-hungry people, or people that like to get their way, as we saw with the Woodward in reverse, or people that won't let go, as we saw here with the Empress in reverse. You can put out the opposite of that. You can let go of things that no longer serve you. You can show trust in people who have earned it. You can let people make a mistake if they choose to make a mistake and they don't want to listen to you. And you can rise above and lead by example. As you do that, the quality and the frequency of the people around you will invariably shift. And so I'm reading this actually as a mirror sort of message, and it's asking you to go within and look and see what you see, then look and see what you see around you, okay? Now let's focus from a different perspective here on love. We're gonna look at this for those of you that are in a relationship, looking for love, or single and happy. For those that are already in a loving relationship, I can see the strength of the partnership right here. We have, again, the Green Woman and the Woodward, very, very strong cards. Sometimes so stubborn that they have a hard time seeing eye to eye. I also see here the same sort of energy here with the King and the Knight. So there could be blended families for some of you. There could be a large family. There could be an ex in the past. And we see this sort of interesting mix of people. The important thing here is to realize that there's no necessarily right way to do things. So this is separating yourself from your exes, from your parents, from your past, living in the now, really being heart to heart, face to face, hand to hand with that partner and saying, we've got this. We're really strong and capable, and let's just pick the areas that we want to focus on. I think that's the biggest opportunity in a healthy relationship, is just to support each other for exactly who you are and don't try to change one another too much. It seems like one or both of you may be in the throes of something exciting. So we have 2 power cards here, and then we have a busy card, the 8 of Wands, and we have a learning card, the 8 of Pentacles. So one is very busy with work, one is very busy with personal development. We see finances in a decent place, or headed in a decent place, and we see an opportunity or a birth. By the way, this can be a baby, because this connected to the Empress could be something new. Also, the fruits of your labor doesn't have to literally be labor. It could be something that one or both of you have been working on, and it comes to fruition. So there's a really nice month here where, if you're ready for a new chapter, it could happen. This is a baby card, though. So for those that are looking for an adoption, a pregnancy, a surrogacy, etc., we see something incoming. For those of you looking to get something off and going, this is a chance for that to happen. So this is basically the birthing energy twice that's coming through. So I like it. I think this is a great month for relationships. There's not a lot that's coming through as problematic. The only question is, are you ready for the next level? This is saying you're either going to go big or go home. So for those of you that have maybe been dating for a long time and the partner still isn't ready to marry or something, this could be frustrating. For some of you, this is just saying, hey, it started off sluggishly, but now things are really starting to pick up. So I can see 2 different trajectories depending on how prepared you both are. Shifting the focus to those that are looking for love. Can you find it? Yeah. I have one suggestion, however. There's almost too many people in the picture here. King of Wands, Knight of Wands, the Strength card, and then the Empress. That's a lot. That's a lot to choose from. That's a lot of influences. That's a lot of voices around you. So if you're dating a lot of people or trying to date all the time, less is more. If you're focusing on what mom, dad, sister, friend all have to say, it's a lot. Focus on what you want. Focus on how you feel. And I think the main thing that I'm seeing here is a question mark. How serious are you? And also, how serious are they? You want to just have a conversation and make sure that you're both looking for the same thing and calling in the same thing as well. I think that the energy is taking you towards work, because I have really great developmental cards. So it just may come at an inconvenient time. Or you might be dealing with a distance component, and that could also be a little bit challenging. Even an age component. So yes, you can call in new love, but there are some challenges right now if that happens. One thing that you could do that will help is to be a lot more clear and picky on what it is that you're looking for, so that the field narrows down. For those of you that I can already hear, you're like, Nicholas, I'm way too picky, and that's the problem. Well, right now, again, the energy seems to be putting you more in a different trajectory. So let's shift the lens here to those that are happily single, or just focusing on other things. So good. What we have here is community building, things kind of taking off to the next level, a lot of training and learning and development coming through here, good money cards, and then maybe something even coming through that you didn't expect. So I see so much movement in finances and development. That's really where the focus should be. So put your energy there and see what happens. And I think this is going to be a positive month. Moving on to the final of the expanded forecast here, the Destiny card, it says, count your blessings, gratitude basically. Thank you, universe and angels, for the blessings in my life. Easier said than done. But yes, basically just saying thanks and I appreciate you is so important. I like that your particular spread didn't get the blindfolded cards like the 2 of Swords or the 8 of Swords or anything of that nature. So it does feel like you're aware of what's going on around you, that you even communicate it to others. But make sure that you're doing it even more than you normally would, especially to spirit, saying, thank you for this, thank you for that. Even thank you for this lesson that I no longer need. I release it. Because remember, there was the holding on cards, this power struggle thing. So you could say, thank you for the challenge. It taught me a lot. I don't need it anymore. You can take this and give me an upgrade, something kinder, something more enjoyable, something more fulfilling, and offer it back to the universe. and see if you don't get an upgrade, okay? But it has to be heartfelt, and you have to really feel that you got something out of that lesson as well. Okay, now let's move on to sun, rising, and moon messages. This will help give you a clearer idea of what's going on in that part of your chart if you're cross-watching. Let's give the cards a shuffle and see what's coming through. Sun, rising, and moon. The sun sign message is that of the Hanged Man reversed. This is a very unusual Hanged Man. It's called the Mirror in this particular deck. And if you notice, she's holding tight that mirror, and that's giving her the chance to reflect. It's saying don't rush that reflective energy this month. It's so important to decide, like, what does this mean to me? Why am I here? These are big existential questions that can't be rushed. What do I want next? Why is that important, you might ask? Well, we have the World and the Fool, an end and a beginning. We have an opportunity that's knocking. So before you step into something new, some of you are really thinking, have I learned everything that I need to? Some of you might be holding on just a little bit longer than you need to. And the reflective energy of this card comes through and it says, really evaluate why you're connecting with or attaching to the things in your life right now and think, has it served its highest purpose? And when it has, and when you're ready, that pyre there in the distance is ready to take you on to the next big thing. Also a sign of death and rebirth, ends and beginnings, lots of synchronicities this month. The traditional Hanged Man is basically showing that the pause creates enlightenment. It brings knowledge, it brings wisdom, and it informs the next step, something that if you watch me, even just in this reading, you know I'm a big fan of empowered movement. So make sure you're ready before you take that next step. Then it's going to be so much easier in the next leg of the journey. Looking at rising and ascendant, we have another card of slowing down. This time it's taking a look at your resources. So rising and ascendant, you've got the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse state, this beautiful horse card. Basically, this horse is saying, do I want to keep going on this path? Is it fulfilling? Is it enriching? Am I learning new things? Or am I simply here because of tradition and expectations? This is your chance to create a new door if it doesn't exist. This is a chance to also put your energy and time into something else if you'd like to. So slow down before you make a new purchase, before you sign on the dotted line, before you make a contractual agreement, and really decide, is this right for me? Is this right for this moment in time? Etc. This is also requesting something. So if you want to move around resources for your benefit, or if you need something, ask, raise your hand, as we saw in this card, and you have a really good chance of receiving, okay? Very beneficial card, but it is saying slow down, and that's been a message now that's been repeated twice in a row, once with the Hanged Man for Sun, and now with the Knight of Pentacles in reverse for you. All right, moving on to moon sign messages, we have the Ten of Pentacles. I saw this one coming because if we take a quick look at the center, we have the 9 and the Ace, near future and outcome. So I said you're close to completion, and we see completion coming through for moon here. So this is allowing yourself to realize that, again, ends and beginnings, they're very compatible. There's something new on the horizon. Make sure that you're planning for the next big step. I think it's always good to have contingency plans, plan B, C, D, E. Like, keep looking at the distance. That's how successful companies and people really are able to sustain over time. You're always one step ahead. This is auspicious when it comes to marriage and business in particular. This could represent a new partnership. This could represent a new contract. Again, making sure that it's right and good and compatible with all that you want, that's going to be so important. It can also be a new home, as we see here. So for those of you that have been looking for one for a while, maybe have sold one or just been in this sort of transitional phase, we're seeing something really nice there. But ultimately, it's graduation and completion. Anything you set out to complete, you have a really good chance of doing that, okay? Such a beautiful message and such a great sort of way to wrap up that part of this forecast. So now we're going to move on to a final card, and here's how this works. I've done my best today to basically show you all the twists and turns and opportunities that are in front of you. but invariably there's always one more thing that you might be focusing on or something that's unique to your situation. So I'd like you to focus on the question right now that you might have for me. Let me give the cards a shuffle and we'll see what the universe has to say. All right, we have a great card here coming through for your final question. It is the King of Pentacles, and it is the King of Pentacles in reverse. We have a little bit of a lone wolf here, but he's calling to the pack. So if you're feeling this sense of how much longer do I have to do this on my own, or how much longer until it comes through, the wolf uses its voice. It may not be the King of Swords, but it knows how to communicate. Anybody that's heard a dog or a wolf howl in the distance, you know what I'm talking, or a coyote or whatever, you know that that can go the distance. So really make sure that you're putting out the call. That's one thing. And the other thing is to be patient. It takes a while for the pack to find you and to hold your sort of space and your energy. This is a card that's lacking grounding. So one of the things you want to do right now is ground yourself. King of Pentacles in reverse could again be focusing too much on things around them, trying to keep up with other people. That's not important. Do you feel stable? Do you feel solid? That's where the energy should go. This is a great time to focus again on personal development. Most of your power cards, most of your court cards today were in the reverse state. I read that as a introspective and a self-developmental sort of vein because I'm looking at you, not so much everything around you. So I think that's okay. This is really just saying, really focus on what matters this month, and foundationally, you're going to see things build, okay? One cautionary note, try not to overdo it when it comes to anything, but particularly when it comes to spending or treating yourself. This can also include things like what you're eating, if there's too much sugar or too much wine or whatever. Pull it back just a few notches, even though we have Pentacles in reverse can be over-consuming. So you can take that however you want to, or overdoing it, over-exercising, overworking, too much of a focus on financial stuff. So pull it back a bit. As a yes/no, though, this is still a really positive card. And again, it's showing wisdom and instinct because of the wolf as well. Okay? Yes/no, it's a yes, but just be mindful of the extreme piece that we were talking about and the patience piece. That, my friends, brings this reading to a close. I hope you liked it. It was so magical for me, starting off with the experience that I had with angel wings last night. So thank you for allowing me to experience that. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor. Brand new folks, hit the subscribe button. It's free and you won't miss future videos. You can control how many videos you'd like to get by, or not how many videos, but how many notifications by clicking on the bell. And everybody, if you can give me a thumbs up, it lets me know that this was something that you enjoyed. A comment below would be great as well, since we got a wolf here at the end. Maybe leave me a wolf. Let me know what you're focusing on. We have rainbows. Let me know where the transitional energy is. You can put a little butterfly as the moth, and just let me know where you're seeing that transformation happen in your life. If you'd like to make sure that you don't miss something and you're not always tuned into YouTube, follow me on social media. I'm on all major platforms as my full name, @NicholasAshbaugh. Be careful of people that add extra characters and things. In fact, if you're not sure, you can go to my website or you can go to the channel About page here, and all the links are posted there. Just a quick heads up, I don't offer private readings and I don't use direct messages. So if anybody does that out there, you know that it's not me and it's just something to be mindful of. If you'd like to give back, it's optional. It helps a lot and I appreciate it. And here's how you can do it. You can hit the thanks button. You can also on any of my lives do a super sticker or a super chat, and you can become a member. All of these things have perks and advantages, so feel free if you'd like to. And I just want to say thanks for all of you just for being present today and working on yourselves. I hope to see you here on the channel soon. Every Monday, Thursday, and Friday, I post new videos. Every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific, I do a live stream. And every single day, I do a one-card reading. So you can find all of that on my main page or on my website. Okay, everybody, take care of yourselves. Lots of love and light. And until I see you again, thanks again for your time. Much love and light.